Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Shout out to my guy. He's the one that inspired this. After sharing some knowledge with him on semen retention, ejaculation control, things like that, I was like, you know what, let me try to start making content. So the goal is 100 days and I'm on day 1 today. So, and the issue I had, and one of the reasons I stopped making content around this, is that I could no longer relate to being on day 3 and struggling and going back to day 1. So basically I'm starting the journey from from ground zero basically. So released some wasted seed, fine, and yeah, it's basically gonna be day 100. But the thing is, I'm not gonna be doing hard mode like I was doing before because I'm in the field right now basically. So I'm gonna be taking you through step by step, day by day. Day 1, let's see if I can do a video every day. I don't know if I'll probably do a video every day because like it gets to a stage where I'm no longer counting days. I haven't counted days. I just set a timer today. So we're about to see sort of how this looks. And yeah, so yeah, this is like a track. So day 1, semen retention. And it's gonna be easy because my viewpoint is a man should not be releasing unless he is trying to procreate. Like you should only be releasing when the woman is ovulating and your purpose is to produce a child. There's no other reason to ejaculate. And part of what I want to share with this channel is how to have non-ejaculatory orgasm, which I've mastered. So I've mastered ejaculation control. I don't need to ejaculate because you can get that same feeling from, it's not the same, it's with a slight difference, but after you orgasm, you don't really want to release, especially because of the deficits and the negative effects of constant release. I have to say constant release because if you release once in a month or once in 2 weeks, it's not going to have any serious impact on your energy. So everything just comes down to energy control at the end of the day. So yeah, this is going to be the first video. I'm thinking about what I'm going to consume for I already know what I'm going to consume for my 1 meal a day. And yeah, I'm just going to be sharing things with you because my conversation with my friend is that people talk about it. People talk about all these theories and talk about all these things, but they never really mention how to do it. And that's going to be sort of my goal. So I want to take you step by step in terms of how to get to a point where you can bypass ejaculation and have constant orgasms instead. And yeah, the first step is to rid yourself of porn. So that would be the first step. And in fact, since this is day 1, I'm just going to talk about the steps, and you're going to see me as you go through this journey. So day 1, basically, so the first thing you want to do is, if you're addicted to porn, you need to go 90 days without watching pornography. That's the first step, 90 days without watching pornography. And this is, I would say, the hardest step. The first step often is the hardest. It's like saying your first million is the hardest, making the next millions easier. So you can never bypass ejaculation if you always go back to porn. So if you can't go 90 days without looking at the screen, and I understand it's difficult, and part of this would involve making sacrifices like staying off social media, staying off X, Twitter, because those are the things you might scroll and it automatically see porn. That doesn't happen so much on TikTok and Instagram and all these other stuff, but you gotta be careful. If you watch anime, give up anime for 90 days, because anime, I still remember Lucy's 5 minutes away. She wants to meet you now, breasts popping up on the screen, breasts popping up in the anime. So you wanna cleanse your mind from that. I would say is the first step. And it's gonna take a long time to go 90 days straight without watching pornography. And just not being affected by sexual imagery as well. That's very important because sexual imagery is all around us, and being able to just guard your gaze. So that's the first step. And then once you're doing that, you're probably going to be battling with wet dreams. And I would have to say you have to conquer wet dreams. And this is the point when you've sort of defeated watching porn, but you're having the wet dreams that are trying to get you back into that low state. This is when I recommend reading studying Taoist philosophy on sexual matters. You know, I've read the Kama Sutra, I've read various Indian texts on these kind of things, and that's why I'm sort of restarting these videos to share this knowledge. I'm feeling mosquito bites on my arms and shit. And yeah, you essentially want to be reading that theory because you have to understand the theory first before you can put it into practice, or at least have an awareness of the theory and techniques. So yeah, you can defeat wet dreams. I don't have wet dreams. There's no way I can get a wet dream now. Like in the spiritual realm, I'm too powerful. In the spiritual realm, a wet dream is a demon or a spirit coming over you and overcoming you and overwhelming you and sucking your seed out of you. It's a form of weakness. So you need to strengthen yourself spiritually, and I'm going to be talking more about that. And after that, so you've got 90 days. I would say try and go 90 days without a single wet dream. And the thing is, if 90 days without porn, the first step, you can still masturbate, just not to porn. Don't open up Pornhub, even if you have a picture of a girlfriend, even if you want to just solo cultivation, you're still allowed to do that. The whole point is just to not get used to typing on the screen, typing up porn. So yeah, once you've done those two, then I would say go hard. And 90 days with no porn, you can still have sex if that's what you want to do. And then after that, you want to go 3 months, no sex. Most men never do this in their lives. 3 months, no ejaculation, no nothing, completely. Because this is exactly the format I did. I did probably close to 6 months before I had sex. And that was useful. Then after that, so you've gone without porn, you've conquered wet dreams, you've gone without sex, you're fucking strong. I've spoken about this in previous videos, check it out. Biblically, these men couldn't go 6 months without sex. All these David, Solomon, Samson, none of them could go a year without sex. So you're strong as fuck. And you're not doing it because you can't get it, you can get it, but you've chosen not to. So you need to be able to reject women and deny women. So there's numerous times women have wanted me and I've said no. I spoke about in the previous video, there was women, my neighbors from my old apartment, calling me to have a threesome with them, right there and then. They came out their door naked, they were taking my shoes, putting it by their door, and I just said no, I'm not interested. So you need to develop that strength, because if you can't develop that strength to say no, develop the strength to say no to porn, say no to gal, you can never develop the strength to say no to ejaculation, because that's what you need to do to have a non-ejaculatory orgasm. You need to be strong enough to say no to ejaculation and bypass that pleasure that 99% of men cannot. So that's what you need to understand. So then once that's done, then yeah, I'll get more into it, but then you want to get into ejaculation control, and only then. Because if you can't sort of pass the previous steps, then you've got no chance in mastering ejaculation control. How can you master ejaculation control if you're addicted to porn and you can't control yourself from watching porn? You pretty much can't. So, yeah, and then I'll talk more about the type of topics and how that ejaculation control in another video, because this one's getting long. Let's get it, let's go. 100 days of the goal. And it's very likely, yeah, it's very, let me stop it there.